Hey guys, Cam 15, joined with my Uncle Darrell. We are back talking Chicago Bears football, with everything that's been going on, for all the wrong reasons, good reasons for defensive reasons, but offensively it's just been a complete mess. Um, I guess you could somewhat say this is kind of like a few days after game thoughts. You know, regardless, my recap, I still stand by my recap. The offense is god awful. I'm having questions about Shane Waldron now. It's funny because I have a coworker at work who actually is a Seattle Seahawks fan, and he was warning me. He was like, "You ain't gonna like Shane Waldron." And I told him, like, you know what? You might be right, because I ain't liking some of his play calls. It's starting to become Luke Getsy 2.0. Now, obviously, some of his stuff can't work if the offensive line ain't doing their jobs and maintaining their blocks, but you still have some questionable play calls where you had like Cole Kmet on a freaking weird end around trying to block, I think, Will Anderson Jr., and he completely whiffs on the block. And I'm like, why you gonna? And first things first, you never send your tight end to block a defensive end. That's like malpractice right there. Why teams continue to do this. This isn't just the Bears. This is teams worldwide, whether it's college or even freaking NFL. I don't know why these offensive coordinators think, yeah, my tight end can block one-on-one with a defensive end. No. Stop that. Um, the offensive line, it's clearly an issue. I'm done with Nate Davis. The man literally tripped over himself on the touchdown. I'm done. I'm done. Like, what more needs to be said? And I'm actually disappointed that the Chicago media, they don't bring his name up to Eberflus. But knowing Eberflus, he's just going to defend him. Don't even get me started with Eberflus and his stupid challenges. Um, at least he's a good defensive coordinator, though. He's got the defense playing good. Other than that, my whole opinion stays the same. Um, Tevin Jenkins, he did talk. I don't have the quote by quote, but if you watch his little post game press conference, he made it sound like as if it's the coaching that is the problem, and it's only week 2, and we're already at this point in the season where we got the offensive players blaming coaches now.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if he's taking a shot at Shane Waldron or if he's taking a shot at Chris Morgan, the offensive line coach, which that will be a part of the video that I also want to bring up too. Um, I don't know. That's first things first. That's not a good look. I don't want, especially for a player in his contract year who's trying to earn a contract, you probably should not be saying anything. You should be worried about your play on the field. He's been all right, but he hasn't been good himself either. DJ Moore, I do think, he was probably frustrated. I know that's been kind of the talk of the town last few days, you know, and everything. I didn't like his attitude in that game. He just gave that attitude. Again, I don't know, maybe he's hurt, he's nicked up with an injury. I understand he probably rightly frustrated, but I'm sorry, he's a captain. It's a bad look when the new guy in Keenan Allen is the guy that's, even though he's injured right now and he was on the sidelines and no helmets and shoulder pads and everything, he's the one, talking to Caleb and say like, "Hey, look, it's all right, helping him out any way he can." And DJ Moore just on the bench sitting over here pouting. And then apparently Bear fans brought up what he might have said to Tyson Bagent. Now I ain't no lip reader, but it sounded pretty interesting what he said. But that's just me. I think he needs to. I understand there's some frustrations. I'm frustrated too as a fan, but I need him to be a good leader and even be somebody that's got obviously Caleb's back and not slouching over on the sideline. But who knows? Maybe he just looked like that, but I didn't like that. I didn't think it was a good look. He looked pissed. Again, rightly so. I understand nothing's going your way offensively, and stuff like that. But defense was good. I have no comment to talk about the defense. That's it. If you're holding CJ Stroud offense to 19 points, I'll take it.
All right. That's a lot to try to unpack here. So I'll start with the obvious. Offensive line is clearly horrible. There's no way you can absolutely have this piss poor of an offensive line in front of a rookie quarterback. You just can't do it. Poles have been there. He's going into his third year now?
This is his third year.
His third year. Borum and Jenkins has been there going into their fourth year. You would think that by now they would have some type of an semblance, a core, if you will, of an offensive line. You would think by now the Bears would have that. No, they don't. Jenkins and Borum look like they're rookies.
Bourne wasn't
In
playing.
fact, they have regressed to the point. Yes, they have regressed to the point where Borum is not even playing.
Well,
They
let's be
can't find
honest.
it.
Bourne regressed. Heck, when it was Justin Fields' year too.
No, I agree with you. All I'm saying is that they have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
You would think Bourne, his history is well known. Jenkins, on the other hand, one year he looked like a Pro Bowler. They just can't find a spot for him, primarily because everyone else keeps screwing up on the line to the point where they got to stopgap him. There's your term again. They got to stopgap him so they can actually put him at his normal right guard, right tackle position.
No, also
They don't know what to do with the guy.
also injuries for Tevin hasn't helped either.
Injuries is across the board with any football team. It really is. It's across the board with any football team. It's a collision sport, for goodness sake. So everyone at some point plays injured. I get all of that. I understand it. However, that said, the whole offensive line as a whole, you would think that the 8 or 9 guys they got on the offensive line, are they all hurt? No. It has Chris Morgan. How long has he been there?
He's been there since Getsy's been here. He was the only one out of the entire offensive staff that was purged
That was
last year.
purged and
That
let go. He
got,
was the only one that stayed. Why?
and on top of it, he got a
That
promotion.
makes absolutely no sense to me.
On top of it, just to add on, he got a promotion and he's the run game coordinator now.
And run the ball, stop the run. Quarterback don't make any mistakes. That's how we beat Tennessee. Caleb Williams didn't make any mistakes because we dominated the second half at the line of scrimmage. We were able to run the ball a little bit to the point whereas the defense could actually get some rest, do their thing against the Titans. We could have actually beat the Texans.
Yeah.
We could have beat them. But I saw one play where Darnell Wright whiffed.
Oh, you're talking about
at
that? You're talking
Danielle
about the
Hunter.
last drive on the third down.
That my goodness gracious. And
Yeah,
the only thing I could ask myself is, dude,
yeah, that was bad.
what were you thinking? You got the guy right in front of you. And you gonna whiff on him like that with your right arm? Man, come on. Come on. The way this offensive line is playing right there, they're going to do two things. They're going to get Caleb Williams hurt, or they're going to undermine his development because he can't progress because the offensive line is not allowing him to go through his progressions. We have a rookie quarterback, for goodness sake. I don't care what he says. I don't care what he talks about. He has got to learn the position. He can't learn the position if the offensive line is not giving him time to do anything.
And when he did have time, he looked pretty good. Like that first drive.
He looked good. And yes, okay, I get DJ Moore's frustration. If his frustration is with Williams, Williams made some bad throws. He did. What rookie quarterback don't? What rookie quarterback don't?
Almost everybody.
Patrick Mahomes, his second year, because he sat his rookie year, his second year, he made some bad throws. Peyton Manning, his rookie year, he made some bad throws. It is expected in a first-year quarterback. What gets that quarterback through the year is if his coaches can develop some type of game plan to protect him so he can get through his progressions. You would think that a coaching staff of the Bears' stature would be able to come up with that. And this is the problem that I have with Eberflus. For me, Eberflus, he's too nice. He's too nice. He's nice to everyone.
Yep.
He requires discipline of his players, but he wants to treat them absolutely like men. I get it. I really do. I understand it. I've seen it work. But it only works when that player has that intestinal fortitude within themselves to do and be better. And I just don't think the cats on this offensive line, to use a similar term, I don't think none of them are dogs. Not one of them. And I'm sorry, I've been preaching about Nate Davis ever since he got with the Bears. There's something wrong with this dude to the point where I just don't think he cares. As long as he getting his 3-year, $30 million, he good.
Yep.
He good. And you can mention personal problems. Every player's got that. Every player has got it. Every player has got some type of personal issues, whether it be family or, I'll put it like that, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. Players have problems. We can't compare one player's problems and expect him to just continue screwing up. While on the other hand here, we want to dog this guy out for no apparent reason. You don't know what someone's going through on that particular day. I get it. But here's the issue. When you step your tail on the field, you have to leave all of that crap at the door.
Yep.
You got to leave it at the door. Once you step into that facility, you got to leave your problems on the doorstep. And if this is Nate Davis, if he's using all of this just so he can earn his 3-year, $30 million, which I think he's in the last year this year, I
No,
don't expect it.
second year.
Oh, man, dude, we got to deal with this cat another year?
I would honestly not be shocked if they just cut him next year.
I mean,
And he's the post June 1st cut. Because they only have 10 million left owed to him.
Now, I'm going to say this. Ryan Poles has done an amazing job of assembling this roster. Save the offensive line. I'm sorry. I mean, it's either the cats he's drafting or the coaches he's assembled or both.
I think it's both.
I mean, I agree. I think it's both too.
You can't, with all due respect.
You can't have Darnell Wright playing the way he played last year.
Yeah.
And now playing the way he playing this year.
He regressed.
He has totally regressed.
And he was fine, the week 1 matchup against the Titans, but this week he got outmatched against whether it was Danielle Hunter.
It's like he played scared when he saw this muscle-bound Danielle Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, okay. And a lot of athletes will simply say, well, you've never played, you don't understand what it means. Okay, I get that too. I understand that too. But I can tell you, knowing me the way I know me, if I was 6'4", 330 pounds, I'm smashing a dude. That's just me. That's how your grandmama built us all.
Yeah.
That if you're gonna step on that field, you better smash them. And that's how she built us. I just
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Ryan Poles, he has to do something.
Simple. If you're gonna draft an offensive lineman, he can't waste.
Well, I think right now he should draft offensive linemen
In the first round.
Oh yeah, first round.
Because that's where you're gonna get
First
the
one,
best ones, the best ones.
I love Roma Dunze, but I would have loved Joe Alt better looking at this offensive line.
Well, we would have had to trade up for the pick because the Chargers drafted
Well,
him.
I mean, that's fine. I think the Chargers wouldn't have minded.
And then two, you still had Olu on the board. The Jets picked
Yeah,
him up.
Jets picked him up. I wouldn't have had a problem one way or the other. But I think now when you said it two, maybe three videos, that term stopgap. These guys are stopgaps. Okay, they're stopgaps. If you're gonna get a stopgap, that means you got a plan to replace him or improve upon the position. And so far, I have not seen that out of Ryan Post as it relates to the offensive line. I think the only first rounder he has drafted was Darnell Wright.
Yeah.
Everyone else are lower round picks.
Yep.
Lower round picks.
Tevin was only a second round pick, but Poles didn't draft him. Pace drafted
No,
him.
yeah, Jenkins and Bourne was not a Poles drafter. But everyone else, with the exception of Darnell Wright, lower round picks. Third,
Even
fourth.
Kieran
Kieran,
Amagadaji, he a
yeah,
third round pick coming out of
yeah,
Yale. And I know they
yeah.
say he's very talented, but we can't do. And I know some people are like, maybe we put him in. I'm like, he's a rookie. He coming off an
He's a
injury. Don't do it.
rookie. He's a rookie. I'm sorry,
And
by now.
he didn't even get any preseason reps because he was injured.
Yeah.
So don't
And
even
it's
put
like,
him into the fire.
and then on top of that, you bring in Ryan Bates. He's injured.
He
You
injured. Yeah.
bring in Coleman Shelton. I mean,
You see why the Rams got rid of him now.
absolutely. You see why Tennessee let Nate Davis go.
Yeah, they were done with his lazy play, his
You got
laissez-faire attitude.
you he has to know this before he decides to have this player put ink to paper.
Yeah,
Why do you think Bates is not in Buffalo?
because he barely got any play time in Buffalo anyways. He was just a backup essentially over there.
Correct. But they made it really easy to let him go. Why? There's a reason for all of that. And now here it is, you want to bring him here and start him? Stopgaps. And
Yeah,
then we ask these stopgaps to be more than what they can be.
yeah.
No, they wasn't like that in Buffalo. He wasn't like that in Tennessee. Coleman Shelton, where was he?
The Rams. That was his
The
last destination
Rams.
before he came here.
And I'm like, and you have playoff teams letting these guys go. More importantly, you have playoff teams letting these guys go. And the Bears are picking these guys up, and now they're finding out why these playoff teams let them go.
Yeah.
They are not very productive at their position. I don't care what Pro Football Focus says. Like, for example, talking about Braxton Jones,
Lucas Patrick. Oh, that's where you
Luke.
got about Lucas
Oh
Patrick.
my,
He was like one of the highest graded centers. I know PFF is like it's very accurate scale, but that just goes to show me I'm like, okay, if he's got a high PFF grade against the Cowboys front, that only tells me one of two things. It's a coaching issue.
and for me, when you get a high grade, that could also mean that everybody around you is really good.
Yeah.
That don't mean you're good. It can mean everybody else around you is really good.
It also
With the
helps that he's
mis-
got Clint Kubiak to be his OC compared to Luke Getsy.
Correct. And now I'm sitting over here like, okay, Eberflus, here you go again. You in your last year. And I know what you said about Shane Waldron. And yes, he has called some questionable plays. But how can we know for sure if the play don't work if the offensive
Offensive line.
line is not doing their job?
Yeah.
We have a rookie quarterback Whether he is a nice person, an asshole, it just really just don't matter. You have to be able to do your job. Discipline, execute, do your job. And I guarantee you the offensive line is not doing any of that.
Yeah.
Any of it. And Eberflus, and when it's all said and done, has got to take the heat for this. Because I
Yeah.
know Poles is not. Poles is not.
Poles is probably somewhere in his closet. I'm gonna start using the term I use with Ryan Pace. He just hides in his closet till he has to come out and do his little press conference thing to explain to the media whatever is happening for whatever reason. That's what Poles
And
is doing. I
and
won't say he's
just
in the closet. He's hiding behind the shell, hiding somewhere in Hallis Hall, behind like some sort of what is it, sheets hiding, just seeing, looking with a corner of his eye, like, okay, what's going on?
correct. Correct. Although, like, let's just say here's a good example. You won't see Poles doing what John Lynch does on the sideline, showing his absolute displeasure when something doesn't go the 49ers way.
Unless the camera focuses on him in the press box or some whatever reason.
Well, but he absolutely shows his displeasure. He definitely showed it a couple of years ago while they were in, it might have been last year during the Super Bowl, when he was wondering why the coach wasn't trying to go get in the 2-minute offense when he had the last ball prior to the half. He's like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, and I'm tired of talking about patience. Poles has been there for he's going on his third year. Jenkins and Bourne is going on their fourth year. Braxton Jones is
You
in
can just
his.
kick, you can kick Borm out. He won't, nobody cares about Borm.
I again, I understand that. If that's the case, he should have been gone. Stop holding these guys around. Get rid of them.
I think they can't get rid of him because I think Borm's on the IR too. But it don't matter. He won't help anyways if he were to
When
come
he
back.
was healthy, you could have easily got rid of him.
Yeah.
Put him on the practice squad, for goodness sake. That's probably where he needs to be anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Poles and Eberflus are just being too nice.
Yeah, you
Too
saw it in the
nice.
hard, you saw it in the Hard Knocks. The man legitimately got very emotional over cutting Colbert. I
Yes.
understand. But I'm like, dude, it's a business. Come on, man. I
Yeah.
understand you may think he's a good guy and he worked his ass off and he still hasn't got a good gig because he's been in the league so long. But like, I understand the emotions and that. It probably might be hard, but look, I don't need my GM crying over just a safety being cut.
Well, that part, being emotionally tied to your players, I understand that because I coach basketball every year. And yes, coaches get emotionally tied with their players. But at the same time, though, coaches know when the coaches and GMs know when they're digging they behinds when they're out of line.
Yeah.
Because in the end, when it's all said and done, we require these players to perform for these fans, you and I, who pay a lot of money to come see these cats play. And here it is. I'm about to spend about 1,000 to see these guys come to London to play Jacksonville. At minimum. At minimum a grand.
Oh, brother, if you go to that game, the offensive line sucks against the Jacksonville
Oh
Jaguars.
my goodness gracious. I regret it. Well, and you know what? They can the last time I think when they were in England, it was when the Raiders came.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I remember that game.
And yeah, I know you because I mean, the first half we did really good. In the second half, all they decided, you know what, forget it. Josh Jacobs left, Josh Jacobs right, and the Raiders look like Super Bowl champs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here it is. I'm going October 13th. I'm gonna be there.
I'm not even gonna make the drive out to Arizona just to watch them play the Cardinals the way the Cardinals are playing.
Oh, well, you know, I said don't sneeze. I told you don't sneeze on them Cardinals. I told you don't sneeze on them.
Yeah, look,
I mean, are we doing predictions this video?
no, no.
Okay, all right, yeah, because I gotta admit, I'm just I watching that offensive line. I'm sitting over here like, man, I I can't right now at this particular moment pick them against the Colts.
Well, the only thing in their favor is the fact that DeForest Buckner is more than likely going to be out because of his ankle injury, and then I think even Latu got injured against the.
And you honestly think it matters with this offensive line?
I know,
The
yeah.
only thing,
Obviously, it's we have to see it to believe it, but for the offensive line case, at least it makes it a little bit better for them.
the only thing that gives me any kind of solace with the Bears at this particular moment is that that defense is lit.
Yeah, with the way
It
Anthony
is
Richardson
lit.
played last week,
Correct.
I'm not worried about whatever you have to watch out still for his legs and his throwing ability every now and then. But if you can force him to make mistakes like you did with Will Levis, you should win
True.
that game.
And gotta admit, Stroud didn't look great
Oh yeah,
against the Bears. And he made mistakes too. He made some really bad throws. We just didn't take advantage of them.
yeah.
Didn't take advantage of them.
And really,
And
the
it
only
would
guy
have
that was killing
helped.
it, the only guy that was killing us was Nico Collins. We even shut down Joe
Yeah.
Mixon.
Yeah. What did Joe Mixon get? 25 yards rushing?
He
We
had like
stopped the
60. He had
run.
six. He had 65 yards, around 60 yards rushing, essentially.
Oh, okay. I thought they had that as a team, but we stopped the run. We just didn't do the other two things. We couldn't run the ball. Quarterback made mistakes, but we stopped the run. I mean, it's just I if
Yeah,
this offensive line was balling out, then honestly, I don't think
we're
the
probably 2 and
Bears
0.
we would be 2-0. But see now you have to start thinking realistically. And I guess I wasn't thinking realistic. I honestly thought the Bears should have beat the Titans by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
But see, now we gotta think realistically. And we have to hope that the individuals that play on the offensive line decide to take some type of accountability within themselves and come to perform in Indianapolis.
yeah. I think one of my first decisions for the offensive line is I bench Nate Davis effective immediately.
Oh
Hell,
yeah,
do what you did with Valus, which I forgot to make a mention in my post game recap. Just make him inactive.
yeah. I mean, if you can do that to Valus,
Do it to Nate
why
Davis.
not? Why not
Set the
Nate Davis?
example.
Why not Nate
I said in my
Davis?
recap, you got to set some sort of example to these other offensive linemen, not just the ones that are starting, but the ones that are even in the backups, knowing like, oh, my play, if I go out there on that field and I'm not performing up to standards, I might be the next guy to be good, let go. And that's why I said honestly, outright, even if it's gonna hit your cap, you're gonna get a cap hit. Just cut Nate Davis right then and there because that's gonna prove a point to the other offensive lineman. Like, oh, this guy got paid a lot of money and he
Well,
got
see, that's
cut.
just it. They're not doing that. They could have cut Bourne 2 years ago. I mean, they could have cut him.
Yeah,
All the off seasons we'd had with Larry Bourne, and he's still on the team. They could have let him go.
that's the problem with the Bears. They look like, well, if we cut him, we they feel like they don't have a better option. Well, maybe it's better to try somebody else new because they might step in and actually do a better job. If I'm going into week 3 right now and I'm looking at the tape, I don't even have to look at the all 22. I don't care. Here's what you do. Here's what I do. If you want to keep Nate Davis so bad, all right, bench him. He don't play. Move Tevin over to freaking right guard, right next to Darnell Wright. That worked last year, and it worked a lot. The run game kept going because you got two monsters that are in the run game pushing bodies. You put
Correct.
those two right there. Matt Pryor, I
Correct.
don't care if he only plays right guard. You tell him, learn a new position, dog. You're the left guard now. And you just
Because I mean, and honestly, I would go as far as to say that's probably why Daniel Hunter got past Darnell Wright so easily. Wright is so worried about Davis that he can't do his job.
Yep. Some people I've seen in other Bears podcasts make the mention, He hasn't played alongside, Davis because of all the takeoff time he had last season and everything. And, you don't know if he can depend on him and every.
It's trust. You got to be able to trust the guy to your left or your right. And right now, and then here it is, you got Braxton Jones is playing the best,
Yeah,
according
he's
to PFF. He's playing the best of the offensive linemen. That ain't saying a lot.
yeah.
That is not saying a lot. And I know I had this discussion with someone else that it takes time to build a premier offensive line in the NFL.
Well, that goes down to
But I'm
coaching
right.
and developing
But
these guys.
absolutely. But damn, I mean, come on now. Poles is in his third year. You should be able to see some type of resemblance of the progression of these young men in that position.
They're
You
not
should not
progressing.
see regression. You
They're
should
not
not see
progressing.
regression. I
They're
know
e-
they're not, but my point is, you should be able to see it. Given that analogy, that it takes about five good years to develop a really good offensive line,
yeah.
but you should
And
see
most
progression.
Most teams at least spend heavily on a massive offensive lineman if they somehow get to free agency and they spend that money
Correct.
to shore it up. But most of the other offensive line, decisions that these teams make, it's through the draft. Look at the Lions. Half their
Draft
offensive line is through the draft. They
through
develop.
the
Our hated
draft.
rival, the Packers. Almost every offensive lineman they have, that's through the draft. And here's the one thing
Through
they
the
always
draft.
do. They develop them so well because they know an emphasis of focus. The reason they killed the Colts all day on Sunday and they just only had Malik Willis throwing the ball 14, 15 times
14 times.
because
They gave the ball to Josh Jacobs damn near 30 times.
I think they gave it to him 50 times.
No, it was. I think he had 29 rushes for
Okay.
100 and.
It's probably one of
But
the
he
other
had,
running
but
backs.
he
But
had more than 100 yards rushing at the half.
yeah, because
I just,
they
just it
and that's why it leads me to Chris Morgan. He's clearly not coaching these guys up effect, and he's not having these guys develop properly.
and Eberflus is not trickling down. If he gets angry at anything, he's not trickling that anger down to the offense to the other coaches just to get them in line. Eric Washington,
You
dude,
didn't
my goodness
he,
gracious.
he didn't
Yes,
even want to
keep him as your DC.
he didn't want to even call out or hold his team that gives him the call to see if he wants to challenge a play accountable.
Those
He
two
literally
challenges were damn stupid. Who in the heck is going to sit up? You clearly saw the second challenge in which Kyler Gordon, the ball clearly hit the ground. Who in the heck is looking at these challenges to let the coach know, hey, you ought to challenge that?
the first one was more egregious than the second one.
Well, of course it was. Who in the heck is
And
looking
he
at this
said
stuff? You think the referees are that big of idiots that they're going to sit up and reverse that call?
and the funny part is in his post-game press conference after the game, he says, "Yeah, the challenging process, we have a good situation or a good program there." It's some of the stuff that he
It's
says
not
that's like
brain surgery. All it takes is you looking at a replay.
when I heard him
It's
say
not
that,
brain surgery.
when he said that, I'm like, oh brother, he's back to me wanting Eberflus fired again.
Making excuses as usual. And I'm just like, dude, come on, man. Really, we have our challenging process is really good. What is that process, dude? It's look at the replay. Look at the replay based on the rules, and then you decide to challenge or not. I keep going back to Kyler Gordon. That ball hit the ground twice.
Yeah.
Hit the
If he
ground
only got
twice.
his hand under the ball, he never would have lost possession. That's simple, but it was incomplete. And when he challenged them, I'm like,
Clearly.
what are we doing?
Clearly. And even the announcer was like, okay, let's hope this pans out a little bit better than the first one.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, if that happened at home, the fans would have been like, dog, no. No. They would have booed him. They would have booed once that announcement hit that they're challenging. It was clear both of them challenges were going to get turned down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was Kyler Gordon who said, challenge it, challenge it, challenge it.
I've heard some people say it was Kyler Gordon that pushed Eberflus to challenge it. Well, at that point, you just gonna be like, dude, I'm the coach. Let's listen.
No, dog. No, dog. You dropped that ball. If that ball hit the ground twice. No, I'm not challenging that. You want me to challenge the call? Then go out there and do it again, but this time catch it. Great play. We commend you for it, but unfortunately, the ball hit the ground twice.
Yeah.
And even Kyler's looking at the replay too. Come on, man. Don't let your ego write a check your ass can't cash, which is what happened with those two challenges. They went and just, oh no, I did it. I did it. Okay, all right. No, man, come on.
Yeah. Last thing, how did you think Caleb played?
I mean, given the circumstance, I think he did really good.
Outside the
I
two
mean,
interceptions, and then he still,
yeah, I
I'll
mean,
still say he has to hit those deep passes. He missed a DeAndre Carter right across, which I think DeAndre
that's who
Carter has
I
been
was
very
impressed.
underrated.
That's who I was impressed with. I gotta admit, I like that kid.
Yeah.
That kid is nice. But he did make some bad throws.
Yeah.
A couple to DJ Moore.
Yeah.
The one fade route that went to DJ Moore that he was just
He's underthrown.
it was underthrown. But the only thing I can think of is he was trying to hurry up and get that ball out of his hands because he thought he was going to get hurt. Offensive line. It's like when the offensive line actually hold their blocks like they're supposed to. Caleb doesn't have any trust in them, and he tries to hurry up throws.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
No, neither do I.
And that's what leads to the
But
inaccuracies.
correct. So he's just keep progressing. And if I could say anything, I would probably say keep progressing, keep leveling up,
Keep the
and
confidence. Keep the confidence.
yeah, keep that confidence, bro. Because
I don't need to see no side by side images like I saw on Twitter where he's already doing the
yep, yep. If you got to go to the offensive line, just hey, bro, come on, y'all. I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all. I'll get better, but you guys got to get better you guys got to get better with me. I can't do my job if you're not doing yours.
and they also need to help out the running backs too. And if I was running
Correct.
back on that team, I'd be pissed at these guys.
No,
If there's
you
any Bears
know,
player that should be pissed at this team right now, it should be the O line, even the
yeah.
defense included.
I mean, if you can't win the line of scrimmage, you're not gonna win.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get out of here. We
Yeah.
gave our thoughts. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button if you want to get more stuff. We'll do our NFL week predictions later in the week. We're gonna record it on Friday and stuff like that. So, till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day or night. Till then, guys, peace.